I did have a really drunk night out once. I had the pack of cheese, I was like, I'm gonna put it on the noodles. And this is such a random question. I'm like, hey friends, what do we think? Whoa. You don't want to ruin the magic.
The World Vegan Guide legend that she is.
Hey YouTubers, welcome back to my channel. This is a vlog to celebrate my 8 years of being vegan. Crazy, right? Like I survived. I'm here, I'm healthy. Who would have thought? I put a question poll on the vegan pages asking you guys if you had any questions about this journey so far. So I thought I'd just answer it from a laneway.
First question, what made you go vegan 8 years ago?
So I was actually vegetarian first. This might answer some of the other questions you guys had around did I go cold turkey. I was veggie for a couple of years, and honestly I was veggie because my mum made such bad meat. Like it was really dry lamb, like just gross. So I was like, I have an idea. I'll go vegetarian and then I don't have to eat her meat. But then because of that, she was like, you have to cook for yourself. So that's how I kind of got into cooking and learned how to cook, started like a vegetarian food page. And then I was working at Boost Juice, classic if you're in Australia, you know the one. I worked there for 8 years, of course I did. And I was like, you know what, I'm just drinking a lot of dairy. I'm not feeling great in my tummy. There was a particular blogger at the time that I just loved. And she was like, why don't you go vegan for a month? And I was like, actually, why don't I do that? So I went for a month, and then after I did like some more research around like the egg industry and just was feeling good because I wasn't drinking so much dairy, I was like, okay, I can't go back. And that's it, 8 years.
But 8 years, how can you go live without cheese for 8 years?
Oh my God, everyone gets so stressed, like, how am I gonna be without this, or how am I gonna be without that? To be honest, like cheese is one of the things I actually missed, and 8 years ago there wasn't like a lot of good vegan cheeses like there is now. But every time I had cheese, all I thought about, I just like envisioned a cow, and then I was like eating something from a cow, and I was just like, oh no, that's enough to put me off it. I did have a really drunk night out once with my ex-girlfriend, and I was like, I had the pack of cheese, I was like, I'm gonna put it on the noodles and pasta, and she was like, don't do it, you'll regret it. And I was like, nah, I'm doing it. And I didn't, but I got really close to breaking it once to eat cheese. But now there's such good vegan cheese, I do not miss it at all.
But like, how do you do it though? Like, how do you like? Some people do it for Lent and they fast for Lent and they go vegan, essentially vegan for 40 days, and they feel so flat by the end. Like, how do you manage to be, you know, so bright, so bubbly, so energetic all the time?
It's the plant-based life, honey. Honestly, like there were so many vegetables growing up that I didn't like. There was like Brussels sprouts and broccoli, but what you realize, and it's the same as meat, no one's just like having a chicken thigh without the seasoning, the flavors and the herbs and the sauces. So like you actually learn to experiment with veggies, and like also knowing what the veggies do for my body and for the planet, like that makes them taste even yummier for me. But I understand like it does take time for taste buds to change, and I think there's actually some data around the fact that like your taste buds do change after about 21 days. So I would highly recommend sticking with it if you're gonna give it a crack. And yeah, force yourself to get in the kitchen and experiment, because if you're just like buying stuff out that's like super processed, you might not feel good, but just like learn to love veggies.
Well, speaking of veggies, how can I make dope veggies like you?
Oh, I'm honoured. Thank you so much that you think that I make dope veggies.
You're welcome.
I do, naturally, I know. So I would definitely get Deliciously Ella's app. It's such a good app. It's plant-based recipes. It's not like hardcore in-your-face vegan. It's just like, here's delicious ways to make food. And I think just fall in love with like seasonal veggies. Like veggies don't taste great when your mum steams them, but if you like put them in an air fryer with like herbs and spices or hot sauces, like you can, like veggies are fucking sexy. They're yummy. We love veggies. So yeah, find creative ways to look at them. Simon Tui's another great guy that offers heaps good plant-based recipes. There's an angry dog. We're gonna have to go back. So come with me. Simon Tui has a great way to celebrate veggies. Honestly, don't back a veggie until you cook it 3 times and then come back to me and tell me you hate veggies.
So speaking about food and diet, so have you ever been low in iron, and what was, you know, the process like that if you were?
Look, if you are going to go plant-based, which I would 100% recommend you do, because look at me, I'm out here thriving. I would definitely do it properly. Make sure you go to a good GP that actually specializes or respects the plant-based movement, not just your everyday GP that's like, you should eat some steak and you'll be fine. I'm aware that people might get low iron as they shift from a red meat or animal protein diet to a plant protein diet. Just do the right thing, get your bloods tested. I get mine tested every 6 months. More recently, I was a little bit low on iron, so I did get an iron supplement, which has helped. Or people get iron infusions as well. There's no shame in that. There's no like stigma around that. You just make sure you get tested and do the right thing.
Have you changed your beliefs about veganism from when you started down this path, or has it remained pretty constant?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people, great question by the way, I think a lot of people like start veganism, like it could be for your health, it could be for the planet, it could be for the animals, it could be a bunch of different factors. For me, when I first started, it was 100% for the animals. I didn't even know the benefits of my health or the planet, and now I feel like with climate change, which is very much happening, it's very prominent in the world. I'm scared for how hot it's going to be in Australia this summer. Because of that, we now know the science around diet and how that impacts the environment. Also, we just are so privileged to live in a climate where we don't have to eat animals to survive. So like, I really think for me, whilst I went plant-based or vegan 8 years ago for the animals, today it's definitely for my health. Like I'm recovering better, I'm fit as heck, like I just feel good, and also definitely for the planet. Like I don't want to bring a kid into this world unless I know I'm doing an impact to kind of prevent climate change.
Yeah, sick. Slightly off topic or change of topic now. Any brands or places, you know, for sugar-free options which you can recommend? There's a lot of leaves on me.
There's a lot of leaves for our camera guy.
Yeah.
Sugar-free places, look, this is such a random question. I'm like, this doesn't really go with the brief, but hey, I ask you guys for questions and I will answer them all. So I think with sugar-free, look, I don't really know what you're asking about. Like, I don't eat a lot of sugar naturally because I don't feel great on sugar, but I'm all for balance. Like, definitely, like, I'll go out for a yummy sugary cocktail or dessert. Actually, I said I don't love dessert, but I actually, like, love chocolate. Like,
You love chocolate,
it's like a problem, yeah. We like chocolate around here. But yeah, I think you can look at refined sugar-free recipes. I used to have a raw vegan cheesecake business when I first started being vegan, which was so random, and of course I did. But yeah, there's definitely recipes online that cater for no sugar.
And speaking of businesses, how and why did you decide to turn your passion about your diet and veganism into a business, a booming business?
Oh, thank you so much. Well, Vegan Guides is popping. Look, it was so random. I was in uni, I was studying journalism. I moved from Newcastle to Sydney. My friend had Newcastle Vegan Guide, and I was like, oh, I wish there was something like this in Sydney. Like, I don't really know any vegans. I don't know where to eat. And she was like, you should just start it. And so I did. And I remember the first day someone knocked on my front door and was like, do you want this like free ice cream? And I was like, oh, free food. Oh, like this is living. And now it's like to a point where obviously we have staff and I'm a boss and I'm a business owner and we get paid to eat food, we get paid to review food. Like what a privilege, and how cool is that? That is my job. So yeah, the Vegan Guides have been like 6 years in the making. There could be so much more that goes into it, but I work full time and it's only a certain amount of hours in a day. But yeah, I think it started because it was a passion and an interest project, not for like a clout chase or to try and become a celebrity or anything like that. So if you are going to start something, start it because you give a fuck, not because like you want to be someone or be it. So privileged to do what we do. It's so cool. Like I forget how impactful it is, and also how cool it is when you're like at a restaurant getting paid to be there. Just cool, Barry, this is living.
So speaking of restaurants and going out and about, best vegan friendly area in Melbourne?
Ooh, look, there's always the debate like, is Sydney better, is Melbourne better? I actually think that Sydney is better for dinners and Melbourne is better for like cafe style. But the best area naturally is Fitzroy, which we find ourselves in today. This area is so northside, so vegan friendly. There's too much choice here. Like whenever I'm in this area, I'm like overwhelmed because I want it all. But love this space. There's so much good food here. Definitely come check it out. Because a lot of people come to Melbourne and they think they want to stay in the CBD, but I'm like, hun, there's nothing in the CBD. So stay here.
How do you feel about vegan wording and plant-based vegan, the wording and copy behind it? So
Okay,
to speak?
the vegan movement gets a lot of crap for being like a stereotypical hardcore vegan. Like people like, oh my god, like do you shave your underarms and like you must be so hippie, and it's like, hun, just like let go of the ego and the stereotype. Like it is just the labels only exist so you can understand what I like to eat. And it's so weird because people that decide to not be vegan for whatever reason, health reasons, and they feel like they have to come out, and it's like vegan is the only diet that when you tell someone you're it, all of a sudden everyone's got an opinion about it and cares about you. Oh my god, side note, my friend is here. I'm going to film some Renee's reviews, and if you know Renee's reviews, I actually have a carrot mic, and I didn't have a carrot mic, so my beautiful friend Naomi, you can come, is delivering my carrot mic. What a gem. BRB. You are the mic. The mic. I love you. Thank you. We have the carrot mic. cameraman in your pocket, please. It's a good carrot.
I picked the best, only for you.
It's well done, darling. Love you. So over the past few years, we have seen this dog, honestly. We've seen the dialogue change. So now it's more plant-based, which I think is a more friendly approach. It's much more like kind, segue, approachable, like it doesn't come with that negative connotation. But naturally, my page is called Vegan Guide, so I can't change the name of my business. But moving forward, as I consult for restaurants or I work with places, I'm like, just say you're plant-based. But then that gets confusing because a lot of people are like, hey, I'm plant-based, but I do have eggs or dairy. So whatever label you feel right for you, just stick with it and don't worry about what people think. Don't worry about the stigma around it. You do you, boo.
And finally, it's been 8 years.
Yes,
8
it
of
has.
the best years.
8 of the thriving years.
Just living your best life.
A couple of half marathons down, just ran 13K. What up?
Oh, just a cheeky flex. The final question I have for you. What's the best part about being vegan?
Oh, it's all so good. So good. Honestly, the best part about my journey with veganism, and obviously mine's different because I've managed to pursue a business out of it as well, is just the people. The producers that I get to connect with, the people that I meet in the community, the people that we get to help, the impact we get to have, the people are the best, but they're also the worst. The people that have the worst kind of banter around veganism. That's the only downside to being vegan, is copying terrible jokes from people that think they're fully sick to banter with you about being vegan. The best part is definitely the people, and also just how you feel. I just feel so happy and love plants. I love the way they taste. My body craves it now. That's how much I love it. Loving being vegan, 8 years in the making, have no intentions to let that go. I hope this helped. If you have any questions, if you want to go vegan for a month and you need a gal to help you, call me.